We are now live. Hey players, welcome to another live stream here on my channel. For those of you that are new here, hold on, there we go. My name is Josh, and every single week I make videos sharing tips, ideas, and stories teaching you how to be your best self. And in this live stream, I'm going to be walking you through 5 simple ways to be less nervous around your crush. If there's someone that you like and you want to feel comfortable talking to them or just being in their presence and not feel like you're an awkward mess, don't worry. I'm going to walk you through 5 simple things that you can do that's going to help you feel more calmer, feel more comfortable, and more confident in that moment. But before I jump into those reasons, I want to give shout outs to all the early birds here in the chat. Those are the people that jump into the live stream right from the get-go. So if you're someone that wants to get your shout out in the beginning, join the live stream as soon as it goes live. Let's see who those early birds are. All right, should be popping up here in a second here, but let me look at the chat and see who we got. Everglow 101, good to have you, my man. Eduardo TV is in here. Elijah C24. Hamish K, good to have you, Hamish. The Juan Speaks, always a pleasure to have you in here, Juan. Alex Burns, I know you were one of the first people that jumped in. Let's see who we got. Harry Supo. Harry, it's been a while. How you been, man? Hamza Shalabi, good to have you as well. Yancey Kobian, good to have you, Yancey. Living in 2021. I hope it's supplement related. No supplement pushing here. Surreal Sheldon, good to have you, man. Do you have a pee-pee, Josh? Judah Rondes is in here. Trinity the Monkey. Kuka Agara is in here. Dave Video Studio, good to have you. Tate Ford. Nihilix is in here as well. Jalen C. Ninjas, good to have you, Jalen. Happy you're part of the live stream. Brianna Saunders, good to have you, Brianna. Let's see. I think I got everyone in here. Nihilix is saying, hey, Nihilix, no need to spam. I'll see your comments and I'll try to respond to them when I can. Owen Moore, good to have you. Connor Jones, hey, I need help, Josh. It's not good. My Discord is Connor. Connor, message me on Discord. Go to the joshspeaks.com/Discord. You can join our community there. If I can't answer your question or I don't get to it in time, you can always ask our Discord community. That's the next best place to go. Tutor Dumza is in here as well. Good to have all of you guys in here. Super excited. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up on this video, I'm going to be walking through these 5 points here, but I also want to say this, that if you have a burning question, if there's something that's on your mind that you just need to ask me, you need my opinion right now, right here while we're talking, you can always use the super chat function. That's a little donating. That's the little donating button, the little $sign button right when you guys are typing in comments. If you click that, you could donate $1, $2, $5, and what it'll do is it'll put your question front and center. I will stop what I'm doing. I will stop and I will answer your question. I consider those burning questions to be time sensitive, so I will directly give you an answer. Otherwise, you can post your questions in the chat, and I'll try to catch them whenever I can. But super chats are the best way to put a question in front of me to get a full, thorough answer from me. So I'm happy to have all of you guys in here. I think it's going to be a fun live stream. I think we're going to have a good time in here. Let's talk a little bit about this topic. Let's talk a little bit about feeling nervous around your crush, feeling like you don't know what to say or how to interact with them. This is a normal feeling to have, right? It's a lot of times it's like we strive to feel more comfortable around people that we like. And why is that, right? Why do we want to feel more comfortable around people that we like? Well, we want them to like us. We want them to think that we're interesting people or to think that we have something to say that's valuable that they should hear. Now, nervousness is something that affects everyone, right? Anyone who says, oh, I never get nervous is lying. We get nervous in different situations around different people, but especially when it comes to talking to your crush and being around them, you might freeze up and not know what to say, not know how to talk to them. You might feel like that feeling is overwhelming and you don't know how to deal with it in that moment. Well, let's talk a little bit about nervousness for a second in here. Nervousness is a common feeling brought on by your body's stress response, right? So when you're dealing with stress, when you feel anxious in a moment, when you have a lot on your plate, when you are going to talk to someone but you don't know what to talk about, you might feel that sense of stress and it might manifest as nervousness. Now, what is happening is your body prepares a fight or flee threat by boosting adrenaline. So when you're feeling nervous, your body starts producing adrenaline and pumping it through your body, right? Because it's trying to protect you. Because if you're feeling nervous, it's possible that you might be in a situation where something bad is going to happen, or your body thinks something bad is going to happen. So what happens when your body starts to produce that adrenaline? Well, your heart starts to beat faster, your breathing starts to quicken, and your blood pressure starts to rise. Now, I'm going to come back to this chart here, but I want to ask you guys, if you've ever been around your crush, have you ever noticed those things happening to you? Maybe your palms start to get sweaty. Maybe your heart starts to beat. Maybe you start to just get very, like frantic and start to shake a bit or start to stutter over your words. These are normal responses whenever you start to feel nervous. And I think a lot of times we think that, there's something wrong with us or we're doing something bad. And the thing is, it's like, that's going to happen until we start to develop strategies to handle that nervousness. Now, it is entirely possible. Sometimes when you feel nervous or even anxious in a situation, you might feel like this is overwhelming. I can't escape this. There's no way that I can feel comfortable here, right? But the truth of the matter is that nervousness is only temporary. And, it's temporary and resolves itself once that stress has passed. So if you can learn to handle the stress that you're feeling in that moment when you want to talk to your crush, you'll start to get more comfortable being in that situation and you'll start to know how to handle it better. The nervousness will start to go away quicker because you'll have a much better coping mechanism to handle it. So nervousness can be controlled, even if you're someone who's more prone to nervous feelings. Some of us are more prone to nervous feelings, meaning it happens more frequently for us. Maybe you get nervous when you have to raise your hand in class and answer a question. Maybe you get nervous asking someone for help or talking to someone in a store and asking them to help you find a t-shirt. Well, in this live stream, we're going to dive into nervousness around your crush. But I think if you think about the tips we're going to share, I think you can apply them to all levels of nervousness, and it can help you work through all those points of nervousness. So I want to start walking you through the points here. Like I said, if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up, guys. I'm excited to kind of go through these points here. So let's get moving here. Let me set the first one up. So the first point, the first simple way that I think you can be less nervous around your crush, let's take a look, is this. Identify something you can learn about them. Now, a lot of times the reason why we get nervous around our crush is because we don't really know what to talk about. We don't know how to act around them. Do we act cool? Do we act nonchalant? And what ends up happening is that our nervous persona plays out and they see that, right? Like I said before, your heart's beating, your palms are sweaty, you're shaking, you're stuttering. All those things start to come out and your crush ends up seeing those things. Now, I'm going to walk you through what I mean by this point here, but Nick has just sent in a burning question. Nick, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's put that up on the screen. Nick says, thank you for the $10 super chat. Nick says, I have a lot in common with the girls I'm friends with. For example, TV shows and movies we both like. The only problem is they still don't want to date me unless I'm flirting wrong somehow. That's a really, really good point, Nick. So you kind of dived into what we were going to tackle there first. You have things in common with these girls. You guys like the same TV shows and movies. There are things there that you can talk to them about. But for some reason, you're running into this roadblock of, hey, but for some reason, it's not really moving past the friend stage. It's kind of just, we find things in common. Maybe we could talk about that, but I can't move it past the friend stage. And Nick, this is definitely something that I mentioned in the past when it comes to learning how to flirt. And I think, I think learning how to properly flirt can be super helpful here. And when I say properly flirt, I mean getting your intentions across, that there's a bit of mystery and quality there that the girls want to discover. Maybe you kind of tease them a bit or joke with them a bit, and they like that. And they feel like, okay, he's someone I could play with. He's someone I can kind of have fun with. I think, Nick, that's definitely the piece that you could probably work on. But I think that if you're getting to the point where you're comfortable talking to these girls and you have this in common with them, but it's not moving to the romantic stage, then chances are, that the way that you're interacting with them maybe isn't coming off in a way that they can find attractive, meaning you might be coming off just too friendly, too calm, too reserved, and that to them might not seem interesting or fun. So there's definitely pieces you can work on there. What I would honestly recommend, Nick, is if you want, like, message me and stuff, but I would say if you become a patron, right, then we can work every single month and have a dedicated half an hour or hour, whatever it is that you want, and really just dive into this. I feel like that'd be the best way to approach it. But yeah, I think, Nick, the piece is kind of working on the flirting skills, and we can dive a little bit more into that if we had more time. I don't want to take too much time, but I thank you for the $10 super chat. I hope that's helpful. And I'm going to talk more about kind of getting closer to your crush and how you could do that. Hamish, thank you for the £5 super chat. Hamish said his palms are sweaty, mom spaghetti. That was exactly what I was thinking when I said it. So I'm glad someone said it. I'm glad someone put it out there. But thank you guys. Thank both you, Nick and Hamish, for the super chats, guys. I hope that's helpful there. I'd love to dive into it more with you, Nick. So we'll try to talk a little more about that. I appreciate the super chats too. So jumping back in, we were just talking about this, guys. Identifying something you can learn about your crush. A lot of times the reason why you may get nervous is because you don't really know what to talk about. So what are some ideas for things you can do? Well, here are some tips and ideas for what you can do. You can try to focus on learning something new about your crush, right? So people always ask me, what do I talk to my crush about? And I ask them the same questions. Do you know what their favorite movie is? Do you know what TV shows they like to watch? Do you know what their hobbies are? Do you know what they like to do for fun? Where do they spend their free time on the weekends with their friends? What are fun restaurants and ice cream shops and pizza places they love to hit up? All these interesting things you can learn about your crush are the questions you can ask. What I would say is that if you're at that point where you just don't know what to talk about, you want to start being less nervous, prepare something. Prepare a few questions. Come up with at least one question that you can ask them. Even if you tell yourself, hey, you know what? My crush is over there in the hallway. I want to go talk to her, but I don't know what to say. You know what? I don't know what her favorite TV show is. So let me ask her, say, hey, listen, I'm looking for a new TV show to watch. I just finished watching The Mandalorian. I just finished watching, I don't know, some other show. What's a good TV show? What would you recommend? That might be a question you can lead in with. So you won't be as nervous because you have a question prepared. You have something to talk about prepared ahead of time. I think that can help you kind of alleviate that nervousness, help you feel a little bit more comfortable along the way. So that's what I would say. That's the first tip, guys. Identify something you can learn about them. What I want to do is pull up a chat poll here. Let's get this first chat poll going. And hopefully the chat poll works correctly, because I know sometimes they always give me some challenges. Okay, let's get this chat poll going here, guys. The first question I want to ask you here is this. I want every single person watching to jump into the chat. You can type out exclamation. See, just basically type out what it says to type out there. Exclamation point vote, and then the word space yes, and then or no, or maybe. If you type that, it'll pop up in the poll here. I'll do the first example. I'll do it as a first example here. If I wanted to write yes, I'd write exclamation point vote, yes. And it should pop up in the on the poll there. Yep, see, so the first one popped there. So, guys, the question is, do you know what your crush's hobby is? Do you know what your crush likes to do for fun, what their hobbies are, what their interests are? Jump into the chat right now and type yes or no or not sure, and maybe type in maybe there. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. After you vote in the poll, you can always jump into the chat and type it out. Type out what your crush's hobby is. I'd be curious to hear what it is. For those of you that don't know what your crush's hobby is, that's a good thing to start with. It's a good thing to kind of jump in and say, you know what? Let me find out what that is. And the good part about asking your crush what their hobby is, what they like to do for fun, is that you can also share what you like to do for fun. So if you want to really work on conquering that nervousness, I think it's good to start with a simple question like that. Now, question here is, does that only work in person, or can you do it over text? Can you do it on Instagram? You could totally do this online as well. If your crush posts about something, a TV show that they watched or a movie that they watched, you can always jump in and ask them that question. Shoot them a DM, leave a comment on their picture. So I would recommend doing that. Looking at the chat poll here, it seems like about 47% right now is that yes, with my one vote kind of skewing it. But so far, most of you guys have voted yes. Some of you have voted no. Some of you have voted not sure. So for those of you that have voted no and not sure, let that be the question that you find out. Tell yourself, you know what? The next time I see my crush, the next time I want to interact with my crush, I'm going to find out the answer to this question. I think that if you go in with a question like that, you're going to feel less nervous because you're not walking into a situation not knowing what to do. You're walking into a situation where you're going to be prepared and know how to kind of start that conversation with them. Let's take a 1 second water break here. Okay. Oh yeah, I still got to fix this so that it shows different things every time. Anyway, yeah, that was a chat poll, guys, there. So it seems like it's near split along the way. Most people say yes. Most say second is not sure. So for those of you that don't know, let that be your first question. Okay, let's get into the second point here, guys. The second tip, the second thing I want you guys to kind of think about, as you go forward here, and that's going to be this. Speak slower and ask deeper questions. Now, let me explain this one a little bit here. When I say speak slower and ask deeper questions, what tends to happen is that when you're nervous and you're nervous around another person, your voice starts to speed up and you start to say things really quickly. You start to slur your words and stutter over them, and you get caught up in things and you kind of lose your train of thought because you're speaking so fast because you're nervous. So try to speak slower. I think that if you take pauses when you speak, what you have to say sounds a lot more clear and focused, and you put a lot more emphasis on what you're trying to say. Notice how I just did that there. I tried to put more emphasis on what I tried to say. I'm not saying space out every word. I'm not saying do that, but give yourself a second to breathe when you're speaking. If you can catch yourself speaking really, really fast, this is the best thing that you can do because, sometimes when we're nervous, like, the speed of how we're speaking just escapes us. We just go on and on and on and on, and we don't give any pause or break for the other person to speak. I've made this mistake tons of times where I'll just talk because I'm nervous, but the other person has no moment to jump in and say something. So try to speak slower if you can and ask deeper questions. Let's take a look at what that looks like here. So as I was saying before, if you start speaking fast, take a deep breath and add more space between your words. Let's do that right now, guys. Let's take a deep breath. Let me pull this back here. Let's take a deep breath. Let's take a deep breath to get together. Everyone watching the stream, you don't, if there's people around you, don't worry. Just, you don't have to close your eyes if you don't want to, but let's take a deep breath together and see what that feels like. Ready? Let's do it. Let's do it one more time. I took 2 deep breaths there and I feel super relaxed right now. I feel calmer. I feel a little more at ease. So taking a deep breath, especially when you're about to start talking to your crush, is going to help you manage that situation better. It's going to help you start to feel like, okay, I don't have to just ramble. I can go in and take my time. I can be patient when I speak, and I'll be more calm. And that calmness is going to help you not feel as nervous. It's going to help you, like I said before, the blood is rushing through your body, you're getting all sweaty. That deep breath is going to help calm your heart rate, and you're going to start to speak a little slower. Now, when I also say ask deeper questions, this is an important piece too. If you find yourself talking, try to pause and ask a question. Ask the person, what do you think about that? What's your opinion on it? Or has something like that ever happened to you? If you can flip what you're talking about and turn it into a question for the other person to answer, you also give yourself a break from talking, but you give yourself a chance to breathe, and you show that person that you're curious about what they have to say. So if you find yourself to talk fast, become an auctioneer. Yeah, I think sometimes people end up talking really, really fast and they don't realize that it's hard for the other person to understand them, hard for the other person to hear them, hard for them to kind of really feel like there's a conversation, and it might just feel one-sided. So sharing things about yourself, but then reframing it into a question so that the other person can share is the best thing that you can do. Now, I want to pull up another chat poll here, but before I do that, I want to jump into the chat. I want to see what some of you guys are saying in here. If any of you guys have questions, or if you've tried some of these things and they've worked for you or haven't worked for you, type it in the chat. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Let's see. Donna says to Everglow here, get to know her few interests very well. Once she's opening up to you more, she should tell you a lot more about herself. Absolutely there. I think that in the beginning, a person might not open up about everything, but as you start to share more about yourself and you start to create more space for them to also talk, people tend to see that as an invite to be like, okay, this person's trustworthy, this person's open, and they care about what I have to say, so they're more willing to share. Anthony says, so do I get some sort of retirement plan for being a former manager? Well, we have the honored role, don't we? Cheesy, you're the best manager. Cheesy, you are a great manager. I love what you're doing, man. I love how caring you are in the stream, and I love how helpful you are too. So I appreciate it. Everglow says, hey Josh, when your fingers hurt from placing 5,000 blocks in Minecraft, what do? You might want to give your fingers a break. Maybe put your hands in some warm water for a bit. Let's see. Carter says, I shake, especially when I worked out my legs. Especially when I worked out, my legs shook because I thought she looked at me. Yeah, so if you find that you're someone that gets nervous and you shake a lot when you're talking to your crush, try that deep breathing. I think if you take just 1 or 2 or even 3 deep breaths, you'll start to notice that. Sure. You'll start to notice that your heart rate starts to slow down. You start to become a little bit more calmer in that state. Eduardo says, how do you avoid awkward pauses on FaceTime with your crush? Yeah, Eduardo, that's a really good point. If you run into situations where there are awkward moments where you don't know what to talk about or the conversation just hits a lull, I think what you can do is try to think about how you can go deeper into that conversation. So whatever it is you were just talking about, try to extract a question from it. Let's say you were just talking to your crush about how your teacher gave you guys a really, really hard homework assignment. Let's say you guys are talking about that. Oh, yeah, the homework was really hard. Oh, yeah, cool. And the conversation dies. You might want to then extract a question from that and think, okay, if I had hard homework in this class, maybe my crush has hard homework in another class. So you might want to say, what about your other classes? Do you also have a lot of homework from there too? Or if you guys are talking about your hobbies or interests or a TV show, you might want to shift it over and say, well, are there any other TV shows that you like to watch? Are there any other things that you like? Take whatever the conversation was about and extract more questions from it. This should kind of give you a little bit more life to that conversation. So when you are running into those awkward moments, that should kind of be a good way to kind of pull that in. Let's see, I'm going to answer a few more before I jump into the chat poll. Yancy says, hey Josh, is it good or bad to date our cousin's girlfriend or boyfriend? To date your cousin's girlfriend or boyfriend. So you want to date your cousin's girlfriend or your cousin's boyfriend, or you want to date the cousin of your girlfriend? I'm confused there, Yancy. I think that if the person's in a relationship with someone else, it doesn't make sense to pursue them, right? Like we've talked about this in the past. If someone's dating someone, it's best to focus on people that are not in a relationship right now. But Yancy, if you want to rephrase the question, I could try to answer it again. Hey, Noah, how's it going, man? Alex Burns says, I never share my personal questions to my crush. She doesn't know who I am. Yeah, Alex, that might be something you can work on. You can work on sharing more about yourself. We've talked a lot about the type of music you like, Simple Plan, and all these different things. So you might want to open up more about some of your own hobbies and interests so that your crush can get to know you better. All right, let's jump to the next chat poll here, guys. And this one is tied to what we were just talking about here. I'm curious to hear. Like I said, jump into the chat and type out either vote yes, vote no, vote maybe, or vote never if you've never talked. Do you talk nervously fast around your crush? Are you someone that finds yourself mumbling your words or getting tongue-tied or getting very anxious? Do you talk nervously fast around your crush? I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Jump into the chat poll and answer here. Living says, I thought he meant dating your cousins. Oh, dating your own cousin. I wouldn't recommend doing that. My mic has a weird buzz when I stop talking. It's possible maybe it's the computer, like the fan or whatever in there running, and you hear that once I stop talking. I would think, I don't know. I'll look into it. I'm looking on getting a better mic setup too. I'm using a Blue Yeti here, so I'm looking to get something different. But yeah, as the votes come in here, guys, look, sometimes you might feel nervous around your crush. It's okay. It happens. Like I said, don't beat yourself up. If you do get nervous, go back to those breathing techniques that we were sharing before. I think those are going to be helpful for you. Now, as the votes come in, let's take a look at what's going on. Let's take a look at what's happening here. Looks like most people are leaning towards no, that they don't talk nervously fast around their crush. Some people said yes. Some said they're not really sure. Sometimes you don't even know that you do it. You're just talking. You don't realize that it's happening. And then a few people have said we've never talked. So yeah, some of you guys have never even talked to your crush before. If you're one of those people, if you're in that boat, that's okay too. I know that nervousness might be holding you back from doing it, but it's possible to get closer to them, to start talking to them. Noah asks, what's the question? The question's right there on the screen. The question is, do you talk nervously fast around your crush? Curious to hear what you guys have to say, especially what your answer is, Noah. So jump into the chat and answer. Let's see. Bagel Bear says, how should I start a conversation with my crush over text? Because I feel like I text her too much and I don't want to come off as obsessed or creepy. Bagel Bear, that's a really, really good question. How do you start a conversation with your crush? I think that when you're just starting the conversation, right, it's the first time you're messaging them, try to message them about something that's either relevant to something that they posted, relevant to something that's going on in your guys' lives, or relevant to the world in general, just to get their opinion, right? So let me break that down a little bit. Relevant to something that they posted. Let's say your crush posts a picture of their favorite book, and they're like, oh my God, just finished reading this book. You might want to comment on that picture or DM them and say, hey, that's an interesting book. I've heard about that. Should I read it? Is it good? Like, that might be a good thing to start with. You're taking something that they've shared and you're starting a conversation from it. Now, something that's relevant to both of you guys might be that you both are in the same class, you're in the same school, you're in the same grade, you're going to the same prom, whatever it is, something that you share. You might want to message them and ask them about that. Hey, did you end up doing the homework? I'm kind of struggling with it. You know, hey, did you study for the test? We should organize a study group and try to study. Something related there. Or something larger going on, right? You might want to ask them about a TV show that came out or something that happened in politics or something crazy in the world that's going on and ask them for their opinion on that. That's how I would kind of start with that. Yeah, is Red Lightning the only one that hears this buzz, or does anyone else hear the buzz too? So looking at the poll here, most of you guys said no, which is good. That's a good thing. You know, that if you guys don't talk nervously fast, that's good. That means that you feel calmer, and that's definitely a step forward. For those of you that do talk nervously fast or have never even talked to your crush, I think that taking those deep breathing techniques is going to help, and reframing it so that you can ask questions as well is going to give you a chance to catch your breath and be a little bit more calmer and focus in the moment. Okay. Let's move on to the next one here. Let's close this poll. Okay. All right, guys, let's move on to point number 3 here. We're talking about 5 simple ways to be less nervous around your crush. If you haven't already hit the thumbs up on this video, let's move on to the third point, and that's going to be this. Oh, you have to be wearing headphones. Yeah, weird. I don't know what it is. When I get my new mic, I think I'll take care of that. Okay, the third point is this, guys. Start a group convo, including your crush. Now, this is something that I think a lot of people get very, very nervous about, right? Basically, what ends up happening is that, you know, you think to yourself, well, I want to approach my crush. I want to start talking to them, but I don't know how because they're always around their friends, or they are, you know, always, you know, with people, or, you know, like they're never alone. Well, it's okay to also approach them when they're with people. In fact, that might actually make you feel less nervous in a way. Let me explain. If your crush is surrounded by people, right, it's very different from you approaching them one-on-one. When you approach them one-on-one, the focus is on you and your crush, meaning if you don't have something interesting to say, it's going to be awkward. It's going to be awkward fast. But if your crush is with people, if your crush is hanging out with a group of kids or their friends or whatever it is, and you walk up to the group and you say something like, hey guys, let me get your opinions on something. Now everyone's going to be active in that conversation. And when everyone is active in the conversation, one, it takes the light off of you, right? Like, you're not the only one that's talking, so not everyone's only paying attention to you. And it allows your crush to kind of be as active or not active in the convo as they want. So let's walk through some examples of that, guys. Here are some examples of how you can start a group conversation, including your crush. So instead of approaching them for a one-on-one chat, ask their friends open-ended questions. This is how, and I've talked about it in the video where I shared how I asked out my first girlfriend, was she was hanging out with her friends. They were all sitting around together during lunch, and I walked up to them and said, hey, let me get your opinions on something, guys. What do you think about this? And I asked them their opinions, and everyone was answering, oh, I like it, or I don't like it. When my crush finally spoke up and said, oh, I really like this thing, I walked up to her and I said, oh, you're cool in my book. Gave her a high five and I said, all right, you're on my team now. We're on this side. And I joked around with her in that sense and kind of made it seem like we were a team compared to the people who didn't like the thing I asked. So that was a fun way to kind of engage with a group. And then all of a sudden, everyone just started having a conversation about the topic that I brought up. So sometimes to beat nervousness, it isn't a matter of isolating your crush and getting them alone. Sometimes it's a matter of going into a group setting because it might be easier if other people can also jump into the conversation. Plus, if your crush ends up feeling awkward or nervous that you're there, because look, sometimes your crush may be nervous about speaking. They may not know what to say, or they may, also be experiencing the same nervousness that you are. It allows them to also kind of take more of a back seat. So you're indirectly talking to your crush, but you're still getting FaceTime and value with them. Your crush is still interacting with you in some kind of way. I think starting a group conversation is a great way to start to work past that nervousness. And it's a lot easier sometimes to leave a group conversation because you could say, all right, guys, hey, it was cool chatting with all of you guys. I got to head out. But if you're talking one-on-one, sometimes it might feel weird to walk away from that conversation without ending it in some kind of way. In a group conversation, one person can leave and everyone just says, all right, see you later. And then they keep talking. So it doesn't seem weird. You can come in and come out of that group easily. Everglow says, hey Josh, is it weird that me and my crush started talking by typing on a Google Doc together? I don't think that's weird at all. I think that a lot of people tend to have conversations through Google Docs and stuff like that. I think that's pretty common nowadays. Now, if you have shared resources, shared docs and stuff like that. But that's the third point there, guys. Having those group conversations, I think that can be really, really helpful for you. Especially if you're someone that kind of is afraid to approach or just get nervous about approaching your crush directly one-on-one. So what I want to do is pull it over to a chat poll here, guys. I want to hear what you guys have to say. And since I was talking about kind of approaching your crush when they're with their friends, here's a simple chat poll question. I want every single person right now watching to answer. Do you know any of your crush's friends? Are you friends with them? Are you in any of their classes? Do you interact with them in any kind of way? If you have any kind of interaction with your crush's friends, well, type yes or no, or maybe you're not really sure if you have mutual friends in common with them. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I think getting closer to your crush's friends is one of the best things that you can do to help you with that nervousness, because the more Google Docs is a great dating site, by the way. Yeah, it really is. You just jump into the side chat and you just chat in there. Hey, Jalen, you have to type it, I think, like how it's written there. It has to be vote. Or maybe it did work. Maybe I had it wrong. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyway, I think it's important to get to know your crush's friends because, and here's the thing. If your crush's friends know who you are and they like you and they think you're a fun and cool person, they're going to talk highly about you to your crush. They're going to talk good about you. They're going to share things about you. And it's going to help make it easier to get closer to them. Plus, it's going to help you be less nervous because you're going to feel like you have allies on your side, people that have got your back, people that want to help you get closer to your crush. So getting to know your crush's friends is going to help you in the long run beat that nervousness, guys. Looking at what you guys are saying here. Tim Dobson says, but at some point she will need to engage the conversation because I have a crush that I talked for a while. Yeah, definitely. If you're talking to a group and your crush is not speaking at all, you may even want to jump in and go, hey, what do you think about that? And invite her or invite him to jump into the conversation to share what they're thinking. That might be a good way to kind of welcome them in without it being weird and approaching them directly. But that might be something that you can focus on. Looking at the chat poll here, it looks like no is beating out yes just by a little bit there. More people are saying that they don't have any, they don't know any of their crush's friends. So most of you guys also said yes. Some of you said maybe. So it seems like it's close to an even split almost between yeses and nos here. So if you're someone that doesn't know any of your crush's friends, well, that might be a good place to start. Think about, do you have any classes in common with your crush's friends? Do you see them in the halls? Do you have any mutual friends that know them? Like I said, getting your crush's friends on your side is going to be a great step forward in getting closer to your crush and beating that nervousness. So I would highly, highly recommend taking the time to get to know them better because it's going to help you kind of ease into the situation of talking to your crush a lot simpler. Hamish, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. It should be popping up in a second here. Hamish said, Josh, I'm still looking for a girlfriend. Hamish, I hear you on that. I think that part of the challenge in finding a girlfriend, especially in COVID times, is that you don't have the ease of meeting up with people if you wanted to, right? So let's say you talk to someone online. Well, it's still kind of difficult to meet up. We're not in the place yet where people can easily go out on dates or feel comfortable going to restaurants or doing all those things depending on where you live. But I understand the hardships, Hamish. I understand the struggle that you're dealing with there looking for a girlfriend. I think the best thing you can do right now, Hamish, is work on your flirting skills by practicing through dating websites. I know we talked in the past about going on dating websites and chatting up girls and talking to girls that are local in your area. I would highly recommend jumping back into that and practicing, Hamish. Next time we have our one-on-one hangout, we can jump in and dive into it a little bit more and see, hey, maybe there's some girls you can message. What can you say? How can you fix up your profile? How can you put up cool pictures of yourself? All those different things we can tackle. But thank you so much for the £2 super chat, Hamish. Now, what I want to do, guys, is I want to share a few things with you here. Let me pull up these promos here. So right after this live stream, right after I finish up this live stream, I'm going to be going live over on Instagram for the Instagram after party. I have a lot of interesting things planned for Instagram. I'm planning on jumping in and doing stuff on Reels. I'm planning on doing more stuff on more IGTV videos. I want to start posting more things like quotes from my videos and stuff on my feed. I'm going to start being way more active on Instagram. So if you're not following me over there, go follow me, Instagram.com/TheJoshSpeaks. But like I said, right after this, you are all invited to the Instagram after party. The Instagram after party is basically I go live, and I love to bring you guys on to chat. So if you have questions, if you want to jump on a video chat, join the Instagram after party. I will bring you guys on. We'll have a really, really, really awesome time. I also want to say this. I mentioned it to Hamish before, but tomorrow I'm going to be hosting our community hangout. So if you're a member through Patreon or your YouTube channel member, you can join our community hangout. Those are people that at the community level and on. And the community hangouts are really, really fun. Basically, it's anyone who's a Patreon member. Usually there's 4 or 5 or 6 of us that jump on, and we all just chat and we catch up with each other and we ask questions and we share our stories. So if you want to kind of meet a group of friends and just video chat with us once a month, become a member on Patreon or become a YouTube channel member. Or if you want to talk to me one-on-one, like I had mentioned to Nick earlier, if you want to kind of work with me one-on-one, if you want to sit down every single month and jump on a video chat for 30 minutes or an hour, become a patron member, and then we can sit and have a dedicated video time where we can go through the things that are going on in your life. It's a private setting. It's private, only you and me talking. It's the best way to kind of communicate and get my advice on things. So I wanted to share that, but I also wanted to share this, guys, that since we're talking about nervousness and we're talking about how to deal with that, how to manage those feelings, I want to talk about my book, Embracing the Awkward. I have it right here. I wrote this book as a guide to help you guys learn how to kind of deal with awkward situations in life. It's a guide for teens to succeed at school, life, and relationships. I got to hold it there. Although it says guide for teens, this book I think is great for anyone that's in middle school, in high school, in college, even if you're post-college. I talk a lot about finding your path and your purpose and how I did it in my life and how I discover what that is. It's a pretty in-depth book in here. I have quotes in here. I have diagrams. I have different things that you can do to follow. I talk about dealing with rejection, dealing with anxiety, dealing with awkwardness, guys. Check out this book, Embracing the Awkward. It's available on Amazon, or you can go to thejoshspeaks.com/awkward. It'll take you to the Amazon link. I think this book will be helpful for anyone. The audiobook will be coming out soon. I got to figure out when that is, but it will be coming out soon. Check out the book, Embracing the Awkward, guys. I think you will really, really enjoy it. It's available on Amazon. So I wanted to jump in and share that with you guys. I hope that's helpful. And let's jump in now to point number 4. This is going to be the 4th point here. We are walking through 5 simple ways to be less nervous around your crush. If you're someone that deals with nervousness and awkwardness, these are the tips that I think you need to follow in order for you to feel more comfortable and confident with yourself. Let's jump into point number 4 here, guys, and that's going to be this. Point number 4 is approach with a friend to make it easier. Don't ever underestimate the power of a wingman, guys. Sometimes having a friend in your corner can be the best thing that you can do to feel more comfortable talking to your crush. Now, let me explain this a little bit more. When I say approach with a friend to make it easier, what I mean is this, that if you're struggling to talk to your crush directly or one-on-one. Sometimes if you're with a friend, it might be easier for you to kind of approach that person and say, hey, me and my friend are having a debate. Can you settle something for us? And get your crush involved in that conversation. So doing that is going to allow you to have the ease and comfort of knowing that your friend is there, and it's going to allow you to interact with your crush. So you have two things going on that's going to help you out. Hamish says, I can't wait for the audiobook. Awesome, man. I can't wait till it comes out either. I think it's going to be really helpful. What is community? I'm a YouTube member. Alex, I'm going to share the link with you. If you want to become a YouTube member, if you go to the joshspeaks.com/join, that should allow you to become a YouTube channel member. So you can join and become a community member, a supporter, or a champion level member. If you become a YouTube channel member, basically you're going to have a little badge next to your name. Like if you look at Hamish K has a little sunglasses badge. I'm going to be updating those little icons too, but Hamish K has a little icon there. You get a little cool little icon next to your name, and every single month we can jump on a one-on-one video chat. So check that out, Alex. That's the join one that I shared there. That's the one that is becoming a YouTube channel member. But approaching with your friend to make it easier. As I was saying here, guys, having your friend be a wingman for you might make it easier for you to talk to your crush and approach them. So looking at this, guys, let me get this right here. So some of the tips I wrote here. Having a supportive friend can help keep the flow of the conversation going. This is another piece too. If you run out of things to say, your friend can jump in with more conversation topics. So if you're someone that gets nervous and doesn't know what to talk about, your friend can also have things to bring into the conversation that can make it easier for you. So having a friend there can be helpful. Let your friend know that you take center stage in sharing and connecting. This is an important one. A good wingman never shows up the person he's trying to help. A good wingman is there just to be supportive, to make you look good, and to help you create a better connection with that person. So your friend might come in and go, hey, listen, my friend over here, likes this thing. What do you think about that? Then the person, your crush can share their opinion, and your friend can go, listen, you guys are made for each other. I want nothing to do with this. And they may back away, and they may walk away and leave you guys to talk. So your friend may help set up the stage and then back away so that you guys can connect better. So if you're someone that does feel nervous talking to your crush, having a friend in your corner might be a good step forward to be less nervous about it. Now, I want to jump in here. Before I jump into the chat poll, I want to jump in and look at what you guys are saying in the chat. If you guys have questions, if that's something that you are thinking about doing, having your friend jump in and talk, or you're trying to figure out for yourself, how do I feel less nervous? Jump in here. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I want anyone watching right now to jump into the chat and share your thoughts. Let's see what you guys have to say. Green Boy says, boys need your help. How to slide into a girl's DMs, by the way. All girls school. Yeah, Green Boy, that's a tough one. If it's an all girls school and you don't have any classes or anything in common, the best thing you can do is think about, do you have any mutual friends in common? Do you know any girls that go to that school that are friends with your crush? And, other than the mutual friends there, what do you know about that girl? Do you know what their hobbies are? Do you know any of their interests? Can you look at their posts and kind of start a conversation through their posts there? I think before you slide into the DMs of someone that you don't know at all, try to find something that you can talk to them about. Cryptic is Vibing says, Josh, you're always caring about us with these amazing videos, but how are you? Thank you, Cryptic. Thank you a lot. I'm doing good. I'm doing really, really good. I mean, I enjoy making these videos. I love doing these live streams on Thursdays because it allows me to kind of create so many interactive elements and to really kind of get feedback from you guys. I'm really working on reshaping my Tuesday videos, really trying to figure out what I can do to kind of, one, build viewership. I noticed the views have kind of been dropping on the videos, kind of the average range have been dropping. So I want to figure out what I can do to make them more engaging there. But yeah, I'm just living my life and trying my best to create things that are helpful and meaningful. I'm redoing my website. I'm rebuilding it so that it's more focused on being a helpful guide and allowing me to kind of offer coaching and speaking to schools and things like that. So I'm going to be coming at you guys real soon with the opportunity to kind of help bring me to your school. Even if it's virtual, I can do that too. But yeah, I'm doing good. Thank you so much for asking. Let's see what else you guys are saying here. Jalen saying, hi, Josh, is it possible that she ignored my DM? It is possible that she ignored your DM. If you notice, if you look, you can see whether or not she responded or saw it. But If she just didn't respond to it, and it's been days, it's possible she just didn't see it. She might be ignoring it. It's hard to really tell. All right, let's get one more question here, and then we'll jump to the chat poll. Everglow says, hey, Josh, I'm going to tell my mom to email you about Patreon. Definitely, Everglow. And once I have my website set up, I'm going to share the link with you for my teen mentor coaching program that your mom also might be interested in. She might see that, and that can help break down what my teen mentoring program is and how that works. Hamish says, like the wingman of the squadrons back in World War II, the same term applies. Absolutely. That's where the term wingman comes from. It's a person that has your back, that's looking out for you, that's seeing the blind spots, and that's helping you. So that's definitely that's where wingmans come from. Carter says, dude, yes, unfortunately, I turned down my friend when he wanted to walk with me. I'm sorry to hear that, man. Okay, let's get to the chat poll here, guys. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Do you have a wingman that can help you? I want every single person watching to jump into the chat poll and share whether or not you have a wingman, a good friend, someone that has got your back, someone that's going to look out for you, someone that can help you out get closer to your crush. Do you have a wingman? Is there someone that can be supportive for you? And are you a good wingman for someone else? Do you help your friends out? Do you make it easier for them to talk to their crushes? I'm curious. I keep burping. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Jump in and type yes or no or maybe in the chat. I want to hear what you guys have to say. Rage Master says, I can't wait for the audiobook of Embracing the Awkward. Me too, Rage. I'm not going to be doing the voiceover for it because Mango Publishing is going to have a legit voice actor do it. I might do my own just for fun, reading on live stream or something like that, but I'm excited for the audiobook. I think that so many people have wanted to listen to it because maybe they don't enjoy reading or that's not their thing. So I hope the audiobook can be really, really helpful for those who want it. But for now, if you guys want the paperback copy or even an ebook copy and you just like reading it on your phone or on a tablet or something, you can check it out on Amazon. Do you guys appreciate me? Of course we appreciate you, Music Man. I'm happy you're part of these live streams and I'm thankful for the feedback that you can share. All right, jumping in, a lot of people are voting in here. The question is, do you have a wingman that can help you talk to your crush, help you get closer to them, help you start conversations? Can you get Morgan Freeman to read it? Oh man, that'd be amazing. Imagine if Morgan Freeman, Embracing the Awkward by Joshua Rodriguez. At some point, though, we began to realize that we were indeed getting older and that our park wrestling days were coming to a close simply because we had our other priorities in our lives. If I can get Morgan Freeman, man, that'd be the greatest thing ever. I want water sipping through the audiobook. Yeah, I know, right? It's like embracing the awkward. All right, let's take a look at the chat poll here, guys. I asked, do you have a wingman that can help you out, that can help you get closer to your crush? Most people said yes. So, guys, for those of you that said yes, jump into the chat here. Let me know who it is. Is it a close friend? Is it a brother? Is it a cousin? Is it another girl or another guy in your class? Those of you that said no, did you say no because you don't know anyone, or you said no because that no one's willing to help you? I'm curious to see what you guys have to say. And those that said maybe, where do you stand on there? Do you know someone? Do you not know someone? Cheesy said, I'm too good at dating, so I work solo. Cheesy, that's totally fine. Like some people they don't need a wingman. They don't need someone. They just feel comfortable going in, and that's totally cool. I'm reading through here. Let's see. Everglow says, hey, Josh, they need to hook you up with Jack Black or Chris Martin for the audiobook. You deserve it, right? Those would be cool. Anthony says, I forgot to say, I almost got the chance to pitch a Marvel TV show I made. Pitch it to Marvel? That's pretty interesting if that's the case. Jalen says, I've got friends. Carter says, my friend in my class. Here, I'll pull up this. If you guys can keep voting for those that haven't voted, I'll pull up the chat so you guys can see what people are saying in here, too. Let's see. Hamza says, yes. Eduardo says, my small group of best friends. That's awesome. Green Boy says it's a boy. Wood James says a close friend. Music Man. Alexander Cole says, Music Man, I do, my friend. Jalen says, never use the wingman, though. Yeah, Jalen, sometimes having a friend to help you talk to your crush might make it easier for you. Juan Speaks says, someone might help me, but I think I can do it by myself. That's awesome, Juan. Yeah. Not everyone, I feel, needs to have someone that can help them. Sometimes they just feel comfortable doing it on their own when they're ready. Green Boy says tips for Snapchat. Well, Green Boy, what I would recommend for Snapchat if you're going to message your crush is focus on including her in different elements of your life. So if you're going to eat something, take a picture of your meal. If you're going to travel somewhere cool, take a picture of that. If you put on a really cool outfit, take a picture and say, hey, here's my outfit, your turn. Like, create fun and engaging things that they can do with you. Create fun and engaging things that they can do with you to keep that snap streak going, where it's not just like taking pictures of the wall or taking pictures of the floor. When people start falling into that and just drawing an S, it gets boring, and it gets boring really, really fast. So if you want to keep it interesting, post interesting things and have it interesting back and forth with them. Anthony says, I can be your wingman, Dono. Alexander says, what's the question? The question was, do you have a wingman that can help you talk to your crush? Should have put to talk to your crush in there. But yeah, do you have a wingman that can help you talk to your crush? That could be a close friend. That could be a cousin, a school classmate, anyone that can help you get closer to your crush in that way. All right. I'm reading through the comments there. Cool. So let's jump into the fifth point here, guys. I'm enjoying this live stream so far. If you are too, hit the thumbs up if you haven't already. Let's kind of round this off now, get into the fifth point here. We're talking about 5 simple ways to be less nervous around your crush. If you're someone that feels like you freeze up and don't know what to talk about, I'm kind of walking you through different things you can do to feel more comfortable around them so you can open up more. Let's take a look at number 5. This is the 5th way, and that's this. Have an exit line ready to end the conversation. A lot of times, when it comes to talking to your crush, people get very nervous because they don't know what to say to end it. They think, all right, if I start talking to them, what do I say to walk away? Do I just stop abruptly? Do I make something up? They don't know how to end the conversation. And when I'm talking about ending the conversation, I don't mean just going, okay, it was nice talking to you, bye. Not doing that. What I'm talking about is genuinely ending the conversation, letting them know that you've enjoyed talking to them, and then leaving with some type of call to action, something you want them to do. So here are some tips on what you can do, guys. Let them know at the beginning that you have to go soon, and then bring that up when you feel ready. So here's an interesting psychological trick. If when you approach your crush, you say, hey, listen, I got to head back to my friends in a minute, but I wanted to get your opinion on something quick. Setting that framework now lets your crush know that you're not going to linger, you're not going to talk forever, that you're going to talk for a good, decent amount of time. But if you don't really have to go back to your friends, you can just keep the conversation going. Now, if your crush is like, didn't you say you have to go to your friends? You can go, oh yeah, okay, you know what? I'll head back to them in a minute, but I still want to get your opinion on this. I think that's going to be a good way for you to kind of start to end the conversation by setting up a framework where your crush knows that at some point you're going to leave. Hey, I got to head to class in a little bit. Hey, I got to go meet up with my friends. Hey, I got to go take care of something. Hey, I got to go to the bathroom. Something that allows them to know that you're not going to linger. And then you can keep the conversation going as long as you want. The moment you start to notice it dipping and you feel awkward and weird, you can always pull back and go, all right, well, I'm going to go to the bathroom now. I'm going to go meet up with my friends. I'm going to go head to class. You can come back to that line that you shared in the beginning. Now, I don't think you should just say that and walk away. I think a big piece is bringing up to them how much you enjoyed the conversation. Saying, you know, I had a really fun time talking to you. I really enjoyed talking to you. This was a lot of fun. We have to do this again. I'll hit you up next time. I'll say hi to you next time I see you. I'll shoot you a DM. I'll message you. Now this is where the call to action comes in place. Telling your crush, hey, let's continue talking in the future is going to now create a space where you can approach them when you see them in the hallway. You can DM them tomorrow. You can talk to them with their friends because now they know that you're going to talk to them again. You've created a situation where the reason why you might feel nervous because you wouldn't know what to talk to them about or how to keep the conversation going or anything like that, you've created a beginning and an end, and you've set up for the next time. This is the best thing I think that you can do. This is the best thing I think that you can do when you start to feel nervous around your crush. You start to feel like you don't know what to say or how to end the conversation. This is the framework. Come in with something that's like, hey, listen, I got to head out in a minute, but I wanted to get your opinion on something. Continue talking to them, go deeper in those questions, and then say, all right, well, I got to go meet up with my friends, but let me get your number. It was really fun chatting with you. That's going to help set the framework there, guys. So those are the 5 points that I wanted to go through here. I want to jump in with a chat poll here, but I want to jump into the chat and see what some of you guys are saying in here. In fact, the chat poll is going to address what I think some of you guys are saying here. Let's get the chat poll up here. So this is the final chat poll question. I want to get your guys' opinion. Every single person watching, I want to jump in and answer yes, no, or maybe. Let me know where you guys stand on this. Do you feel like beating nervousness is possible for you? Do you feel like it's something that you're never going to overcome? Something that it's too difficult for you when you're in that moment? Or do you feel like it's something that you can actually work on? Something that you can improve about yourself? Something that you can feel more comfortable and confident doing little by little? So jump into the chat, guys. Answer the question. I want to hear what you guys have to say. I'm going to jump in and read some of the things you guys are saying as well. Jalen says, maybe I should just wait and maybe a few months try again. Yeah, Jalen, I think that you end up in this cycle with your crush where you message them, they don't respond. You message them, they block you, they unblock you. It seems like it's difficult, and it seems like it's really hard for you to connect with that one person, which is why I'm always recommending, Jalen, to pursue other people, to diversify the people that you're talking to put yourself out there more so that you're not in a place where, where the only thing that you can do is kind of pursue one person and that's where your mind just stays. Everglow says, hey Josh, on a scale of 1 to 10, how nervous were you as a teenager around your crush? Oh boy. Oh man. When it was a girl that I liked, I was super, super nervous. I would say I was up there like an 8 or a 9. I don't think that like I would break down sweating. I just felt so nervous. The thing is, here's what I would do. Here's my negative self-talk and how it worked. I'd see a girl that I liked. I'd want to talk to her and I would tell myself, no, it's not the right time. This is not a good opportunity. I don't know what to say. I'm going to look stupid. And then I wouldn't do it. I would psych myself out and come up with a million reasons why I shouldn't. And that was the problem. Because I didn't have a game plan. I didn't have anything to talk about. I didn't go in knowing, hey, I can ask them about their hobbies. I can ask them about their interests. I didn't go in thinking that. If I did, I think my outcomes would have been a whole lot different. Let's see, looking at the chat here, do you feel like beating nervousness is possible for you? 71% say yes. That's awesome, guys. I'm happy that you feel that way. I know sometimes it may feel like it's impossible or in that moment it just runs you over, but it is possible. Anthony Quentel said no. Anthony, I'm curious, why do you feel like nervousness is not something that you can beat or overcome? Alexander Cole also said no. So for those of you that are saying no, I'm curious. Elaborate a little bit more in the chat. Let's talk about that for a second. I'm curious to hear what you guys have to say. Alex Burns says, I don't need to prove myself, just focusing like every day I don't know who I am anymore. I hear you on that, Alex Burns. It can get kind of confusing or kind of difficult to figure out who you are. Who are you? Who are you? Who are you putting out there into the world for people to see? I understand how that could be challenging. Carter says, I'm going to say hi, and when she says hi, I'm going to run away as soon as possible. I would not recommend that strategy, Carter. I think all you're going to do is leave them super, super confused. Okay, yeah, so more votes coming in. People are saying yes, guys. It looks like we're leaning towards yes here. Most of you guys feel like you'll be able to beat nervousness. Jalen says you will always be nervous. Yeah, Jalen, I think that's a good point. This isn't a matter of eliminating nervousness from your life. What this really comes down to is developing strategies, developing ways that you can practice overcoming nervousness in those moments. So if there are moments where you're nervous around your crush, you can pull one of these 5 strategies and start to use them so that you feel a little bit more comfortable around your crush. So those are the 5 questions, guys. Let's review the points here. Let's walk through them again in case you're someone that's jumping in somewhere in the middle of the stream and you missed them. Anthony says, it always just comes up for me whenever I go out to a new place. And I don't go that much, so my nervousness gets built up. I also get nervous when I do my YouTube videos. I hear you on that. Look, Anthony, I think that what you can try to do is create a routine for yourself. So whenever you're about to go and leave the door, you're about to walk out the door, you might want to just hold your arm out and say a line that Captain America said, or just kind of pretend you're putting on the Infinity Gauntlet and go take the day. I used to do this when I was in college. There was it started as a manga, but then it became I think it was a J-drama or a K-drama, Korean show or Japanese, I don't remember. And it was called, what was it called? Main character was called Yan Kumi. All right, I got to look this up because it's going to kill me. Yan Kumi. Goku-sen. It was called Goku-sen. That was the name of the show. It was a drama show, but the teacher Yankumi would go every time before she was about to go into her class, and it was like she was a teacher from like a mob family, and she wanted to become a teacher. Like her family was mafia, and then she was teaching like this class of kids that were like really ruthless and mean. And right before she'd walk into the class, she'd go, put her hand out and go, "Fight-o, oh." And then for me, I was like, that's so cool. So every time I'd get ready to like go take an exam or do something in college, I'd hold my hand out and go, "Fight-o, oh." And then I would go and take on that challenge. So for you, create a routine for yourself that you feel you can use to start beating that nervousness. Okay, we're going to get to the bell, Arby. Let's get through these points here, review them once again. Going back to the beginning here, guys, we talked about nervousness. We talked about how it manifests in your body, that you can develop nervousness, right? Just by being in a situation where stress is kind of on your back and it causes your heart to beat faster, your breathing quickens, your blood pressure rises. This is where it gets very, very overwhelming. But nervousness is temporary and it is something that you can work on. And here's how. Looking at the points here, reviewing them, guys, the first tip I gave you guys was to identify something you can learn about them. If you take some time to say, well, what is my crush's hobby? What type of movie do they like? What do they like to do for fun? What can I learn about them? That can kind of give you the opener, the starting point, the beginning, so that you can actually make something happen and go into the situation feeling comfortable and confident with yourself. Going in with a question that you can ask is always the best thing that you can do, because you're not just walking up to your crush and going, hi. Instead, you're walking up to your crush and saying, "Hey, I'm curious. What do you like to do for fun? What's a good place to eat around here? What's your favorite fast food place?" Asking those questions I think could be the best thing you could do. Number 2, speak slower and ask deeper questions. Sometimes we get very nervous. We start to talk real fast. We start to sweat a lot. Taking a deep breath. Taking a deep breath will allow you to calm yourself down. You'll calm that nervousness. Your heartbeat will start to slow down, and you'll be able to kind of speak more clearly with your crush when you try. Now, you should also ask deeper questions. So if you're sharing something with your crush, if you're telling them a story or asking them a question, go deeper. Ask them a deeper question on there. And the deeper question might be something that is related, something that is, something that's a little bit more in tune with what they're talking about, something where you can get a little bit more specific to what it is that they're sharing. Tip number 3, guys, is to start a group conversation, including your crush. Being able to talk to your crush when they're with their friends might seem scary at first, but it actually can be easier, because having more people involved in the conversation like that takes the pressure off of you, and now it allows everyone to jump in and share and to talk whenever they feel comfortable. So starting that group conversation, I think, could be a really, really good tip for you. It could be really, really good help. Yeah, I always yawn during my live streams. I think it's late in the day. I have long days. I've been trying to wake up every morning now. I usually wake up at 6 a.m. I try to wake up now at 5 a.m. so I can have more hours in the morning to tackle what I need to. So by the time 5 o'clock rolls around, I've been up for like 12 hours. So that's the key piece, guys. Starting a group conversation. Tip number is scary. Yeah, this one is scary. It's scary to walk up to your crush and their friends, but by doing that, you can ask everyone in the group questions, and it takes the pressure off of you talking directly to your crush and allows you to kind of have a more indirect group flowy conversation with your crush. Tip number 4. Look, you can still try the group approach, or you can have a wingman, have a friend approach your crush with you. You might want to say something like, "Hey, me and my friend have a question. We want to get your opinion on it." And your friend is there to make you look good. Your friend is there to kind of help you kind of jump into the conversation, to help fill in any gaps, to ask questions and stuff. And if your crush and you are vibing, your friend can go, "All right, I got to head out," and you guys can leave. So that's a good thing to kind of focus on there. It's, allowing your friend to kind of help you get closer to your crush. They could be a really, really good wingman and a really, really good asset to helping you do that. Just thinking about waking up at 5 makes me tired. Well, I go to sleep early now. I go to sleep at like 8:30, 9 p.m., 10 p.m., the latest. So I try to go to sleep really, really early so I can wake up early. I've noticed that after like 8 o'clock, you're not really doing anything productive, right? Think about it. You've already eaten dinner. you've done everything you did for the day, you're pretty much going to either A, just play on your computer, play on your phone, watch TV. So you're not really going to do anything productive. But for me, I noticed that if I go to sleep early, when I wake up really early in the morning, I'm raring to go. I got energy. It's like, yeah, let me work on my website. Let me work on a video. Let me write a script. Let me do this. Let me try to do things early. Like I have that energy ready to go in the morning. So I've just traded that hangout time for more productivity in the morning for myself. So that's approaching with a friend. Fifth point here, guys, is have an exit line ready to end the conversation. If you can think about how you want to end the conversation, how you can say, hey, listen, I got to head out in a few minutes, but I wanted to talk to you for a second. You now have an out. You have an out where it's like if things get awkward or weird, you can always jump in and kind of, you can always jump in and say, all right, I got to head out. It was nice chatting with you. But don't just end it there. Always leave it with some type of call to action. And that call to action is, you're a lot of fun to talk to. We should do this again. Or, you know what? I'm going to DM you and we'll keep this conversation going. Or, hey, you know what? You're a fun person to chat with. I'm going to say hi next time I see you in the hall, next time I catch you around. Let your crush know that you want to keep talking to them again in the future. That's going to really, really help them see that you want to get to know them better. And it's not going to make it weird the next time you do talk to them. Guys, those are my tips for being less nervous around your crush. I know that, the best thing that you can do is to work on these things. It's not going to just come easy all the time. Sometimes you do need to work on it. But with that, I would like to jump into our mindful moment. This is my favorite part of the live streams because it allows us to take a step back and reflect on what we heard, what we've shared, and what we've learned from each other. Because I think a lot of you guys have shared interesting points and perspectives here in the chat, and I'm super grateful and thankful for that. And I hope anyone that's watching the replay can read what people have written and learn from that as well. I have my bell right here, and we are going to take this mindful moment to think about nervousness. We can each close our eyes here. Let's all close our eyes together. When you think about a moment when you feel nervous, think about what it's like, what you're feeling in that moment. Maybe your chest is tightening up. Maybe you're sweating. Maybe you feel jittery and you don't know what to do. Think about what that nervousness feels like. Now think about taking a deep breath while you're feeling nervous. Think about the calmness you're experiencing as you're taking that deep breath. The more you can kind of calm your inner self, the more you can work on giving yourself the space to be, the less nervous you'll be. And the more you can prepare by knowing what to talk about and how to approach those conversations, the easier it becomes. So now that we've thought about our nervous self, let's think about what our confident self looks like. Let's close our eyes again. Let's picture what that confident us looks like. Standing there, talking to their crush, joking around with them, flirting with them, asking them out. That's the you that is deep within you. And your nervous self is you too. And sometimes you may switch between the two of them. But we are going to work and take those small steps on becoming our confident self more often whenever we're with our crush. So I want you to think about that confident you. Think about bringing that to the surface and sharing it with the world. And with that, we'll listen to the sound of the bell. We'll warm it up. Let's warm up the bell. Let's close our eyes. Let's take 10 seconds to reflect on our confident selves. Thank you all so much for being a part of this live stream. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this conversation, and I hope that these points resonated with you. And if you want, rewatch this video, rewatch it and see what you can take that are actionable steps for you. Thank you guys so much for being a part of it. Head on over to Instagram now for our Instagram after party. We're going to keep this party going. Every single one of you is invited. If you're watching the replay, check out one of the videos over here where I'm going to break down how to deal with nervousness and how to feel more comfortable and confident with yourself every day. Thank you guys for being a part of the stream, and I'll catch you next time. As always, love and peace. See you guys then.